It's gonna be the very best day of your life. It's gonna be, yeah. Do you believe it? It's gonna be the very best day of your life.
Yeah. You was picking out your fit, plan to decorate your crib. You was about to get it lit. I know. Yeah. Oh, what? Yeah. You look at me like I'm a threat, but really I'm just a blessing. This is what it's like to be real. Come on, feel. They know I'm the truth. On some that'll change your perspective. I know what it's like to be real. Come on, feel. Walk around stressed, not realizing life is a blessing. Don't know what it's like to be real. Come on, feel. And we don't get no but your flexing. All of your antics and presents. We know what it's like to be real. Come on, feel. I can see it in your eyes, yeah, it's codependence. When you spend your time, see you're lacking vision. Where you compromise, got no independence. You see me living life and you get offended. Yeah, you get offended. But come on to the other side. I am the light so you cannot hide. Trying to fit in, got you dead inside. Tried to kill me but I cannot die, yeah. I'm alive and you cannot take it. I'm on the rise and this crown I'm taking. On the winning side and there's no mistaking. No, you cannot fake this. You look at me like I'm a threat, but really I'm just a blessing. This is what it's like to be real. Come on, feel. They know I'm the truth. On some that'll change your perspective. I know what it's like to be real. Come on, feel. Walk around stressed, not realizing life is a blessing. Don't know what it's like to be real. Come on, feel. And we don't get no but your flexing. All of your antics and presents. We know what it's like to be real. Come on, feel. Where your real friends at? Somebody tell me where your real friends at? Where your real friends at? I know you don't feel that. Yeah. But come on to the other side. I am the light so you cannot hide. Trying to fit in, got you dead inside. Tried to kill me but I cannot die, yeah. I'm alive and you cannot take it. I'm on the rise and this crown I'm taking. On the winning side and there's no mistaking. No, you cannot fake this. You look at me like I'm a threat, but really I'm just a blessing. This is what it's like to be real. Come on, feel. They know I'm the truth. On some that'll change your perspective. I know what it's like to be real. Come on, feel. Walk around stressed, not realizing life is a blessing.
This is pain, this is youth, This is all the hush hush thoughts in your room. This is for the first time out with your crew. Getting f***ed up, find joy in the bruise. Eyes with the power to seduce. Hand me the aux, we could cruise. Some nights I feel like I got nothing to lose. Some nights I feel like I got nothing to lose.
Freedom, such an elusive concept for many, available to all, yet grasped by few. A freely given birthright, yet more costly in its expression than most believe they can afford. But what is the cost to live without it? Wars have been forged over it, and yet it belongs to the peaceful. Slaves have been made in their master's attempt to barter his or her way into its city gates. But the gates of freedom are not open to the despot. Many will cross oceans to find its shores, but its borders can be found within. Its name is heralded by all nations and tongues, though most never recognize its face in their lives. They welcome and wish to see its benefits, yet resist and refuse to walk out its precepts. Though many attempt to destroy or hide its reality in their futile effort for unwarranted control, the truth of freedom will outlast any of the dissipating lies that seek to blot out its existence. Freedom is not the erasure of all boundaries, but rather the embracing of those that are healthy and true. It is not the denial or blame of consequence, but rather the right and pathway into full responsibility of every outcome in your life. Freedom is not accepted by the weak. It is the way of the strong, the gateway to growth, progress, and ultimately for everyone, a life full of fulfillment.
You give me new life. You give me new life.
It's time and I'm giving you what you're asking for. Future told no time for digging up the past, bruh. Talking about all the people that didn't last. It's scarcity, it's time for using what you have. Just be grateful, the strong is always the last. Things are quick, so settle for we could pass. People's choices are hardly the ones chosen. I'm stepping out of the grave, that's your omen. Yeah, yeah, flower child, inflorescent, warrior, feel my presence, sagacity, pressure, from dead broke, moment affluent, underdog, made a past of it, on top of this shit, what's happening, born in darkness, came to life, within the masses, eternal life.
You give me new life. You give me new life. You give me new life. You give me new life. Oh, you give me new life. You give me new life. You give me new life.
They locked me out, outsider. Felt the pressure in the room when the boy beside him. Despite disguises, they can see the difference. Cubic don't shine the same in the diamond's presence. Them lights don't hold the same when the prophet's present. Impossible to tame when the locks are missing. The blocks are missing, the box is missing. Reach your hand and find a switch, but I'm wired different. You can think we work the same, but a profit different. You can think we preach the same, but the cloth is different. Sort of a maverick, I don't fit you boys' equations, I resist the average. Y'all playing Madden, I'm running real plays, I just make it happen. Got the daughter saying, who would've thunk of it? Life gave me the assist, made a dunk of it. I'm the one the papers chasing, so it's dumb rich. Truth's number one supply, you can come get it.
You give me new life. 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 Oh, you give me new life.
Hey, let's run it back. I think I got one more.
You give me new life.
You wasting time waiting, thinking I'ma fall behind. I'm the future, baby, I ain't even seen my prime. Culture spinning on my axis, so I'm never late. You just left to try to catch the waves that I create. But this ain't surfing, no, these waters for the boat. You never catch it from just talking about it, Lord knows. Got them nodding from the bars I wrote a decade ago. That's how you know when it's the truth, 'cause they'll never get old. And I know you getting tired of the lies when they catch you in the vulnerable times, then they robbing you blind. I know they look like sheep in the eyes, but they're wolves in the mind. Take your innocence to hang you to dry. If you question anything that they try, I speak from a confident mind and there's tears in your eyes. And it make you wanna go, and it make me wanna go. On them hanging from their feet, I just do it with my speech.
You give me new life. 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 Oh, you give me new life.
This is pain, this is youth. This is all the hush hush thoughts in your room. This is for the first time out with your crew. Getting f***ed up, find joy in the bruise. Eyes with the power to seduce. Hand me the aux, we could cruise. Some nights I feel like I got nothing to lose. Some nights I feel like I got nothing to lose.
Freedom, such an elusive concept for many, available to all, yet grasped by few. A freely given birthright, yet more costly in its expression than most believe they can afford. But what is the cost to live without it? Wars have been forged over it, and yet it belongs to the peaceful. Slaves have been made in their master's attempt to barter his or her way into its city gates. But the gates of freedom are not open to the despot. Many will cross oceans to find its shores, but its borders can be found within. Its name is heralded by all nations and tongues, though most never recognize its face in their lives. They welcome and wish to see its benefits, yet resist and refuse to walk out its precepts. Though many attempt to destroy or hide its reality in their futile effort for unwarranted control, the truth of freedom will outlast any of the dissipating lies that seek to blot out its existence. Freedom is not the erasure of all boundaries, but rather the embracing of those that are healthy and true. It is not the denial or blame of consequence, but rather the right and pathway into full responsibility of every outcome in your life. Freedom is not accepted by the weak. It is the way of the strong, the gateway to growth, progress, and ultimately for everyone, a life full of fulfillment.
Today I'm gonna live my dreams and accept how God created me. I won't let confusion, frustration, insecurity stop me. So I've made up in my mind that I'll be all that I'm meant to be, yeah. And there's nothing in this world that I'd let block me. I gotta get what's mine, yeah, yeah. No hater can stop my favor. It's not determined by you anyway. And I've been waiting for this moment in my life, so I ain't worried about what he has to say. And please believe me, you don't have to bet on me, 'cause I'll bet on me any day. Any day. I gotta get what's mine. Yeah, yeah. I gotta get what's mine. I gotta get what's meant for me. I gotta get what's mine. Yeah, yeah. I gotta get what's mine. 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 Yeah, yeah. I gotta get what's mine. I gotta get it, go get it. I gotta get what's mine. Yeah, yeah. I gotta get what's mine. 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 I gotta get what's mine.
I'm giving it, I'm focused. I've got my mind right, this ain't bogus. 'Cause I never knew what I had until you came in and you worked it out. Said I'm strong and I'm moving on. I'm thankful 'cause you showed me that my deepest fear was not my failure, but that I'm powerful beyond measure. I thought, who was I to be brilliant and change the world? I'm freeing all of my enemies to change the world.
Yeah, I believe in this season that we'll rise above all our seasons, flying high for a lifetime. So y'all move over 'cause it's high time. Believe me, we going somewhere. The ground's fit good and we ain't staying here. Forget reminiscing and grieving, 'cause we exist for this reason, to bring back hope to our daughters, make more men of our brothers. This legacy to our fathers, that security to our mothers, to spread more light to the nations, pursue all peace with all patience, presenting God-like lifestyles. Y'all thought wrong, but it's right now. Donate millions to children, secure our future from villains. Culture shifting how you're living. Don't try to keep up, man, we different. We gon' live how we want to. Kids don't eat like they want to. Trillion dimensions through our visions. Cooking up culture in our kitchen. Celebrating forever.
This is pain, this is youth. This is all the hush-hush thoughts in your room. This is for the first time out with your crew. Getting f***ed up, find joy in the bruise. Eyes with the power to seduce. Hand me the aux, we could cruise. Some nights I feel like I got nothing to lose. Some nights I feel like I got nothing to lose.
Freedom, such an elusive concept for many, available to all, yet grasped by few. A freely given birthright, yet more costly in its expression than most believe they can afford. But what is the cost to live without it? Wars have been forged over it, and yet it belongs to the peaceful. Slaves have been made in their master's attempt to barter his or her way into its city gates. But the gates of freedom are not open to the despot. Many will cross oceans to find its shores, but its borders can be found within. Its name is heralded by all nations and tongues, though most never recognize its face in their lives. They welcome and wish to see its benefits, yet resist and refuse to walk out its precepts. Though many attempt to destroy or hide its reality in their futile effort for unwarranted control, the truth of freedom will outlast any of the dissipating lies that seek to blot out its existence. Freedom is not the erasure of all boundaries, but rather the embracing of those that are healthy and true. It is not the denial or blame of consequence, but rather the right and pathway into full responsibility of every outcome in your life. Freedom is not accepted by the weak. It is the way of the strong, the gateway to growth, progress, and ultimately for everyone, a life full of fulfillment.
They're dreaming, they're killing your dreams, depleting your steam. They're jealous of us, they're burying your potential's too much. If you would just lift up yourself, believe in you, there's really nothing else that they could ever do. They hiding the truth, they following you, cause you got the jewel. But that is enough, it's time to step up by realizing you're more than they could ever handle. I pray that you're hearing me. You're perfect as you really are. The world will see just own who you are. You are, you are beautiful. Own who you are. You are, you are powerful. Own who you are. You are, you are special. Own who you are. You are royal.
Hourglass, all class, maybe wanna spend some time with you. Girl, you know what you mean to me. I believe you were made for me. Girl, you better, you should own it. It's time to let the world know it. Cause what's a star to the world if it hides its light from the world below it? I done seen them competing with you, non-stop. You ain't wanna see them do it, steady measuring, but never measuring up to you. They could never do it. My friends soon turn to enemies. Don't let them take what's meant to be. Just make that thing your energy. Just own who you are. Just
Own who you are. You are, you are beautiful. Own who you are. You are, you are powerful. Own who you are. You are special. Own who you are. You are royal. Own who you are. You are beautiful. Own who you are. You are powerful. Own who you are. You are special. Own who you are. You are royal.
This is pain, this is youth. This is all the hush hush thoughts in your room. This is for the first time out with your crew. Getting f***ed up, find joy in the bruise. Eyes with the power to seduce. Hand me the aux, we could cruise. Some nights I feel like I got nothing to lose. Some nights I feel like I got nothing to lose.
such an elusive concept for many, available to all, yet grasped by few. A freely given birthright, yet more costly in its expression than most believe they can afford. But what is the cost to live without it? Wars have been forged over it, and yet it belongs to the peaceful. Slaves have been made in their master's attempt to barter his or her way into its city gates. But the gates of freedom are not open to the despot. Many will cross oceans to find its shores, but its borders can be found within. Its name is heralded by all nations and tongues, though most never recognize its face in their lives. They welcome and wish to see its benefits, yet resist and refuse to walk out its precepts. Though many attempt to destroy or hide its reality in their futile effort for unwarranted control, the truth of freedom will outlast any of the dissipating lies that seek to blot out its existence. Freedom is not the erasure of all boundaries, but rather the embracing of those that are healthy and true. It is not the denial or blame of consequence, but rather the right and pathway into full responsibility of every outcome in your life. Freedom is not accepted by the weak. It is the way of the strong, the gateway to growth, progress, and ultimately for everyone, a life full of fulfillment.
Welcome to The Way, an Iexist event. I want to say on behalf of everyone here that we're honored to have you join us for today's training and session. As a coaching and counsel company, we've been serving others since 2018, And we know that your growth, success, and fulfillment is vital, not only to yourself, but to everyone around you. And it's at the core of our heart and mission here that everyone possible be pressed and empowered to lead a life that is full of fulfillment. Thank you so much for accompanying us on this experience. We're looking forward to see how this will impact the many of you. Share this with your family and friends, all those that you love, to grant them the opportunity to partner with you as you become all that you are. Enjoy.
Thank y'all so much. Welcome to the second edition, the second episode, the second installment of The Way this year. This time it's The Way Business and Leadership Edition. I've been talking I've been talking practically in most of them, but I've been talking so spiritual and so many of the presentations that is almost, it ain't pointless that I'm saying or that I'm separating the two, Business and Leadership Edition versus the Spiritual Edition, but it's teetering that line, I'll say for sure. But today's the Business and Leadership Edition. I have an excellent convo for you and something that I hope you can take with you into your homes. Hopefully it becomes discussion points, not only in your own soul, but with those around you, maybe your household, your family, things like that. Today, we're going to talk about the idea of being rich. Rich is the title of this discussion. I wanted to talk about this pretty strongly today. I was prepared to talk about it even last year. I mean, we're at the beginning of the year, so maybe that's not saying much, but definitely ahead of schedule in terms of topics and things like that. But today, if you can stomach it, I'm going to go ahead and give us like 5 or 10 seconds. If you know you don't like rich, if you know you don't want to be, or something like that, if prosperity just makes you cough up something at the sound of it, you may want to, we'll give you 10 seconds or so to kind of cut it off. Because I'm going to be very strongly talking about the subject of the idea of being rich. I want to start by saying that we talked a little bit last time about manifestation. Okay. I wanted to talk about this next because you need to know that in this life, money, whatever currency you use, wherever you are in the world, is a manifestation tool. Okay. I might have said that last time. I'm going to reiterate it. If I did say it last time, or if I didn't, then that's something you need to know. Money is a manifestation tool. So, and again, that's in this world, in this life. And so we talk about what manifestation is and how we can apply it to our lives and things like that. One of the greatest assets or tools used for manifestation in this world is actually money. Okay. And so we're going to talk about why you need it, how you need to separate it from particular things, and how it's going to help you to be increased in this life. I want to start by saying something else also. I need to make sure, because I've been talking so heavily spiritual. Actually, I'm going to read something to you really quickly. And this will help set up the way I need to say a very prime statement. The statement is this: that money is in and for this material world. Okay, it is actually a byproduct, or it's a product of this material world. I'm careful about teaching about particular things because we don't want to cross spirituality into money making. Although there is a spiritual element that can be taught or bridged in to the idea of both money making, how you use wealth, things like that. It's going to be very important that we know where to separate ties between money and spirituality. Money is not spirituality. Money in and of itself is not a spiritual tool. It's a natural tool used to solve natural issues and problems. Okay? There's a little bit of crossover if we're talking about doing things for the soul, but that's really as far as we can go in terms of money itself. It does not cross over into spirituality. So this is the most spiritual content you're probably going to get. I'm just going to read something for you really quickly. It's a couple scriptures. Listen, if you're here for the money talk, number one, if you don't have a spirituality at the base of your life, you're going to ruin your life no matter how you build on top of it. Money's not a solid foundation to build your life on. Okay, we'll talk a little bit about that later. Money's not power in the spiritual realm. Okay, I need to read this to you just to clear up some things. So if you're wondering, this is 1 Timothy 6. And I'm going to read it. Let's see what translation I want to use. This whole thing is really good, but I'll go real quick to verse 3. Okay. And then I'll read and I'll get to a very popular statement. Now, a lot of you don't know that this is where the statement comes from. And a lot of you misquote it all the time, right? A lot of you have heard that the love of money is the root of all evil. I'm going to get to that in a second. I'll show you where it's found, and I'll show you why it's not what a lot of people think it is. OK, because for the reason of this actual scripture existing, many of you have turned away from the idea of ever prospering physically or financially in this life, unfortunately, because not only are you quoting that maybe without the right understanding, but then there's a lot of you who are just quoting it or misquoting it, quoting it wrong. Somehow over the years, somebody who hasn't read it or is speaking only from hearsay is going from saying that the love of money is the root of all evil to saying things like money's the root of all evil. Some of you have actually heard it that way, but that's a misquote. It's actually that the love of money is the root of all evil. If anyone teaches a different doctrine, I'm starting at verse 3, and does not agree with the sound words of our Lord Jesus Christ, and with the doctrine and teaching which is in agreement with godliness, that's personal integrity, upright behavior, he is conceited and woefully ignorant, understanding nothing. I read like 2 seconds and it gets so good to me, and I don't know what this is. All right. He has a morbid interest in controversial questions and disputes about words, playing semantics over everything, which produces envy, quarrels, verbal abuse, evil suspicions. Right? That's the paranoid crew. And perpetual friction between men who are corrupted in the mind and deprived of the truth, who think that godliness is a source of profit. Oh my goodness. Now you're hearing why we got to separate spirituality from money making. A lucrative money making business It says, from these people, withdraw from those type of people. Swiftly move away from people. It's what this is saying. From men who are corrupted in the mind and deprived of truth, who think that godliness is a source of profit. They believe it's a lucrative money-making business. Withdraw from them. Number 6, but godliness actually is a source of great gain when accompanied by contentment. It says that contentment which comes from a sense of inner confidence based on the sufficiency of God. Oh my goodness. Number 7, for we have brought nothing into the world, so it is clear that we cannot take anything out of it either. But if we have food and clothing, with these we will be content. But those who are not financially ethical and crave to get rich with a compulsive, greedy longing for wealth fall into temptation and a trap and into many foolish and harmful desires that plunge people into ruin and destruction, leading to personal misery. Now, here's the verse that a lot of you have heard out of context. For the love of money, that is, the greedy desire for it and the willingness to gain it unethically, pay attention, is a root of all sorts of evil. And some, by longing for it, have wandered away from the faith and pierced themselves through and through with many sorrows. Okay, I'm going to read one more thing to you really quickly. This is Isaiah 55:1. Okay. I'll try to read out of the same translation. Give me one sec. So everyone that thirsteth, all right. Everyone who thirsts, come to the waters, and you who have no money, come, buy grain and eat. Come, buy wine and milk without money and without cost. Simply accept it as a gift from God. Okay. So we're talking about two bases of operations for this world versus the kingdom of God. Okay. For God's kingdom, right? Let's just imagine heaven for now. Okay. Just for the sake of having trying to draw an image. It's saying, come, all of you who have no money, come buy, right? Get the grain you need, all these things be supplied sufficiently, right? By the gift of God. Okay. This verse is very much so tapping on theological perspectives of grace and quote, the gospel, how it's good news. You can come whoever you are to God. Spirituality does not have a cost to it. If there's anybody that's leading you to believe that money is access to God's kingdom, they are in error. And privately in trouble with God, for sure. Never in your life cross the bounds of spirituality and money making as if they go together. These are two different kingdoms. The kingdom of this world, right? Wherever you stay, wherever you live, has systems predicated upon your money making, ideologies around having power, based upon the amount of wealth you've accrued, things like that. This is not God's kingdom. So even if you commingle, if you start to mix them in your mind, it's dangerous play. I've talked very candidly on this a little bit last year. It's a dangerous thing. I will say this strongly one more time. God does not care about your money. He don't want your money. Sure, you can use your money to do great things for his children, for his other children around the world, things like that. Don't ever present your money to God in the sense of saying, I'll buy my way into your kingdom. I'll buy a spiritual gift. God don't want your money. Super dangerous. Okay. That's my strong statement there. Alongside of that strong statement, let's go back to again, me personally, you'll never be able to come to me and I charge you for something like quote, quote, or to tell you about Jesus or something, or to even use a spiritual gift towards the betterment of your life or something like that. It's not my business doing foolish things like that. It's actually insane. It's a problem. And I'm saying that from a spiritual perspective. It's bad. Okay. This is why people who could even have a similar spiritual gift, you notice how people see the issue is this. When you start seeing things like, and I'm being very honest with you, and I know I'm leaning a little bit spiritual here, but it's just to open things up before we get to the money making side. The issue also becomes this. You see why people separate themselves and create a whole nother category of spiritual gifting use. They'll separate it from, let's say, core streams of spirituality. Let's use Christianity, right? An actual source of spirituality, Christ-centered spirituality. Okay. And now I'll go out and maybe abuse spirituality. Maybe I'll be the psychic or something like that. I'll go create an entire business off of using what I'm quoting to you to be a spiritual gift. Okay. This is dangerous business in the sense of trying to do that for God. Okay. So let's go back to the 1 Timothy real quick. Okay. What type of men does this say to run away from? Men that use godliness for gain. Men that see godliness as an occasion for gain. You have to understand this is a very entitled spirit. This is why I keep saying, I don't know if it's like, what do you want a cookie for doing what you're supposed to do? Nobody makes somebody go sign a marriage contract or something like that. Unless, what is it called? A shotgun wedding or something like that. Maybe some of you were forced or whatever. Some of you were pressured into doing stuff that maybe you didn't really want to do. But I'm saying naturally, most people, unless you come from a culture where there's arranged marriages and you ain't had no choice in the matter. I understand all of that. I'm saying, speaking as an American, we're probably in the 90 percentile plus, maybe high 90 percentile. You made a choice to sign documents to do whatever you wanted to do, right? Land of the free, home of the brave. You have this situation where me keeping in line with what I said I was going to do or what I agreed to do is not a basis for gain. Okay. Moral, upstanding behavior. Let's even call that, according to this, godliness. It's not a means to gain. So if you read this in a couple different translations, one of them says that there's people that use godliness as a means to gain, or that see it as an occasion for gain, right? Which means that either I feel I deserve it, right? Is the way that I'm going to break down both instances. King James kind of reads a little bit differently, but I either see it as deservingness for gain, right? Which is corrupt thinking. Number two, or I'm using it for gain. Okay, I'm going to create a business out of my godliness. The men, according to this, go read it yourselves. It's right here, 1 Timothy 6, okay? That are being quoted as using godliness as a means to money. Are corrupted in mind and deprived of the truth, which means they be lying to you. Now, moving on from that for a second. I didn't even intend to get this far into this, to be very honest with you. So moving on, it's a foolish thing for any of you who have done this unknowingly because you were taught it. I keep saying you were taught by slaves, taught by corrupt men, all these things, right? A mixture is even bad because you got a little bit of good, but then you're mixing some of this in there. Separate them. Money making and spirituality aren't coexisting as one unit, as in to say that you being godly in any type of way, it doesn't mean you're owed anything from God in the sense of money. And a lot of you are so confused in your life because this is what makes you go to God being like, but I did everything I said I was going to do yesterday. Why didn't a bunch of money just start coming to me? Because that's not how this works. That's actually entitlement. You staying out of trouble doing what you're supposed to do, not doing anything stupid that's going to ruin your life, is not cause for you to get a bunch of money or have gain financially. It does not work that way. Stay away from men like this. Next. It talks about how the love of money is the root of all evil. Okay. Here's what you need to know before we talk about money making, which I'm excited to talk about actually, because there's nothing wrong with making money. For the love of money, and I like this is the amplified version, which is why you'll see some inserts. That is the greedy desire for it and unwillingness to gain it. And the willingness to gain it unethically. This is why even in money making, spirituality, God got to be your source. He has to be at the foundation, because if you don't have him at the source of your life, of all of your endeavors, right? Once you put God at the base of your life, all of your endeavors become godly, even if it's gaining wealth. Okay. Because it's sprouting up out of a God posture, and the word I want to use is alignment. Okay. But the base of your life is not founded by money. There should be no money down there. Lord have mercy. So this is also saying, listen, this is why it says godliness with contentment. That word contentment, I'll give you a really good way to sum it up. It just means self-satisfaction. I'm satisfied all by myself. Whether I have money, whether I don't have money, whether I got a friend versus a million friends or something like that. And I ain't talking about social media friends. Okay. I'm saying actual ones. I am godly content. I know who my source is. I know who I am. I am confident in the fact that God's my Father, that I am all sufficient in and through him. Okay, this should be the source of your life. So what I'm saying is, how do you know that money's at your base? Because you think money is making you something. You think I'm somebody now. Because I have a few dollars. Now people are like, Bryan, I thought you were going to talk about being rich. It sounds like you're talking against it. I promise you I'm not. We'll get to it. But I got to make sure your foundation is right. Money doesn't make you anybody. It doesn't make you, there's people that pursue money and start thinking that it's going to give them influence, and they find out it doesn't do anything of the sort. You get to trick a couple people who you've bought their attention because they really just want something from you. Then these people get off into this thing to where if you're not salivating over them like the people that just want to be around them to get some crumbs, then something's wrong with you. It's an unfortunate thing, but that's why this says it's a trap to even go down that road. For the love of money is the root of all evil. That the love of money is actually one word when we're talking about Greek origins, when we're coming from a scriptural context. The word there is avarice, right? It's an insatiable longing for money, so much so that you will do something that is wrong in order to get it. You'll start manipulating people, tricking people, because actually money is your real source. So you don't feel accomplished unless you have money. You don't feel desired unless you have money. You don't feel quote, quote, fulfilled unless you have money. But the problem about this attitude is it's insatiable. So no matter how much you get, you start to realize money can't scratch that itch. I heard a billionaire say one time, he was like, people say that money doesn't make you happy. He said, a billionaire, by the way, he said, yeah, of course, money doesn't make you happy. He said, but I was never getting money to make me happy in the first place. He said, I don't even correlate money and happiness in my mind. I was trying to solve other issues with that. Same thing. Money don't make you spiritual. It gets you no further with God than anything. You cannot buy God. You cannot. It's impossible. He don't need your money. It's crazy. He don't want it. What is he going to do with it? All right. So this insatiable longing will start crafting desires that will make you formulate ways to get money that are unethical, that will lead to other people's demise. You'll start stepping on other people because I got to nominate, I got to do this because I'm nobody without this particular thing. Okay, this is a trap. Now you have people all over the world, due to what I'll consider the majority to be misguided teachers. Because of the misguided teachers saying things, making this mix that I'm talking about, people are literally confusing numbers in their bank account for how much God loves them. They're sitting around thinking, God must not love me. I don't have $1 million liquid in my account right now. Liquid cash in my account right now. He must not love me. I must still need something to do something more appropriate. Yeah, if you want $1 million USD, you need to learn some money making skills. But God don't love you no differently. Let me say something real strong. You can go to heaven broke. Didn't he say, come, all of you, those of you who don't have money. You can heal the sick, broke. 1,000,000%. He not withholding spiritual gifts from you. He not withholding heaven from you. All you need is Jesus himself, God in the flesh. That's what you need for access. All you need. Having him is the same thing as alignment with him and all these things, okay? But I'm saying all you need is him, okay? He'll teach you the way of the Spirit, all those things, whether through his Spirit, use angels, it don't matter. Believe me, teachers, people, preachers, whatever, prophets, evangelists, whatever the thing, however you got to get to God to know him, that's spiritual. You need to know the truth, right? About who is Jesus, right? And I'm saying that's spiritual. Don't come with any other formula in your mind for, indication of spirituality or indication of godliness. Again, that scripture, if you read it, it's in a couple different translations, right? You can take two understandings from it. Some people use godliness as an occasion to make money, meaning they'll turn it into a profit-making business. I'm godly, give me some money. Or the flip side of it is I deserve money because I'm godly. It's insane. Some of you will go to heaven poor. And you better thank God. Okay? Money making is not. So let's use one last example, and I'm moving on into getting rich. Okay, but the main thing I wanted you to know, avarice, that greedy, that unyielding, that insatiable, strong desire to make money so much so because you need it to feel like somebody. I wasn't nobody until I had this in the bank. Listen, it's a trap. And then, like I said, some of you who are using that as indication of God's love over your life, it's all of this is a trap. So let's use Job for an example real quick. Listen, if godliness, godly living, being moral, upright, and all those things, righteous is another way some of you may say it. Listen, the hell hit that man's life like the plague. And he was in upstanding character. But hell hit his life because he was in a posture simultaneously of pride. His upright posture, because it was a deservingness, because he thought he was keeping himself, whether it was through the godly living or anything like that, because he was self-reliant. Some of you are making money so you can become more and more self-reliant, make more selfish decisions. Doomsday is all I'm telling you at the end of the day. Hell hit the man's life because of his posture of pride. Let this be all the warning you need not to go down this path before you start making money, especially to those of you who are uber young. Okay. You don't need money to be somebody. You need God. Godly contentment means that because I have the source of all creation in my life, number one, I'll never need a thing. If he looks out for lilies, birds who don't give a tithe, who don't give in the way that you may, right, in this life, any form of generosity, if he looks out for those things, how much more will he make sure you have everything you need? Why do we have to remove money from the foundation so you can actually have God as the foundation? Because, last thing, notice how God is never threatened by Satan in scripture. There's no Bible verse that says you'll either worship God or Satan. They're not even comparable. Satan's a small boy. No, an actual nobody. Now, anyway, I'm not saying when he was created, whatever. An actual nobody. And guess what? He was accruing jewels and all these other stuff, right? Trying to make himself somebody. It took him into the pits of nobody because that's not where we source our confidence from as humans. If you cannot be self-satisfied, that's content, without things, you are going to lose in this life. Long term, I promise you. And somebody's going to lose on behalf of you. Because he was in a posture of pride, hell hit his life so that it could remove that godliness should make me be safe mentality, right? God is what makes you safe, not godliness. I hope, listen, it's presence, not practice. Because I practice godliness, now I'm safe from ruin. You need God. You need his presence. That's going to keep you from ruin. Not practicing anything. It's presence, not practice. Please remember me. Heed to what I'm saying. You're not safe. I don't care how much money you got. Listen, there's real demons, devils out here. You will go insane. I want to use the passage of was it Nebuchadnezzar? Was it? Listen, I appreciate it. Looking it up for me. You will literally go insane out here with all your stuff. You have to understand God is your keeper. And I'm not saying all your stuff as if we don't have anything. I'm just telling you that's not where my source of anything is. Confidence, anything. I'm not bold because we got money. That's weird. It's not right. Okay. So maybe if you search which a biblical king lost his mind, something to that degree. So, all right, I want to get off of that so we can get into this conversation about, well, number one, about rich. So we talked a little bit last time about manifestation. Here's what you need to know, right? That even when it comes down to wealth creation, money making, things like that, you know, it was Nebuchadnezzar. Cool. All right. So it's Nebuchadnezzar. Just read the story. Listen, he wasn't safe, although he was financially straight, all these things, a literal king. Okay. And I'm not going to go into the whole story now. Man literally lost. That's something money not gonna, you get what I'm saying? And actually God was the creator of that catastrophe, just like in Job's life, by the way. So you're not safe. You need presence. Practice is for you. I keep saying this. Whatever you're doing that's right is for you. Okay? So it's why we're not even supposed to be presenting that to God as if we did something special. It's for you. Most of the things that people can quote as I did this for God is for you. Most of the things. So, I went to church for God. What do you mean? So manifestation, you have to become. So that word become, whatever you be is what's going to come to you. Okay. So rich is something you have to be. I'm sorry, that thing's still smacking me in the back of my neck. You're not doing a favor to God by going to church. Be, and then it's going to come afterwards. Okay. All right. So, you need to realize that everything that I truly want to have in this life, I've said this multiple times over and over. So I'm sorry for those of you who have heard multiple of my presentations. All right. And anything you want to have in your life, you need to be. Right. Become. We're in the process of becoming all that we were created to be, all that God has made us to be, however you want to say it. OK. All that life is intended. So now you have the B side. Whatever you be is going to come. So I have to be rich in order to experience rich. I told you earlier that you can make you can get into heaven broke 100%, and you should make it however you can go. OK, I didn't tell you I suggested. OK, so this is where a lot of you need to understand it's your choice. It doesn't make you a better human than the next person or something like that. But I will say, and I've always said this, it'll probably make you better off. That's not better than. It doesn't mean somebody was more deserving. I'm telling you, y'all have to get out of this deserving mindset. I deserve that too. It's the wrong posture. You'll never get rich that way because you're a hater. And one thing I learned about most things, you can't attract what you don't respect. So this is why I was saying earlier, we'll talk about rich if you can stomach it. But that's also / if you want to stomach it. Because here's what I know. That's why there's all shades and colors of income in this world. You get to choose. It's your choice. This really ain't even on God like that. It ain't even on God. Let me just say it as a straight statement. I want you to know that it's your choice. Okay. So as we move out through this thing or through these, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you what rich is. Okay. I'll give you 5 things, 6 things that rich is, that helps you kind of get your mind wrapped around even how to get there. Okay. But the first thing you need to know, it is a decision. I'm always careful about the way I say things, right? When I say it's not on God, it really is up to you. It does not mean that God would like anybody to be insufficient in any type of way. You definitely don't need to live in poverty, if at all possible. But again, it does not make you less or better than anybody. And I have to say better or less because there are those of you on the other side that think that if you're poor, that's better somehow. Well, at least I don't have to deal with the lusts of like money or something like that or whatever. I'm not tied down to this world because I don't have money, so I'm more spiritual. It's a ditch on either side. Okay, that's a problem also. So you don't want to play. Just don't play the money spirituality game. Trust me, just separate them. Okay, for now. But now that we're separating them, you just need to know it's your choice, right? On top of God, the foundation, I get to decide what type of house I build. Do I want a straw house? My foundation is sure, right? Do I want a brick house? Because now the reason why I'm choosing is because this has to do with plenty of things that I'll bring up in the future, in the very near future. Okay. But it's your choice. I will never think less of you no matter what you have. It's a ridiculous notion. To me, you're all God's children, all of you. Some of you, his bad children. Some of you, his great children. Some of you don't know. Excuse me. Some of you don't know you're his children. That's who I want to touch. Right? With the gospel, the truth. Maybe in some other time, this presentation is for anybody, but who I would want to know the truth is those of you who don't know you're his children. Okay. But at the end of the day, on top of that foundation, that solid foundation, you're God's child. Okay. You source all of your identity. You source all of your confidence. You source all of your sufficiency as an individual from that. Now you choose what you want to build. So I had somebody say this to me one time. He said, we all have to traverse. We all have to walk this journey of life. He said, it's dangerous. It's hard or whatever. And you got to create a path for yourself because it's an individual situation. By the way, nobody makes it to heaven on somebody else's merit. You got to live your own life. Okay, there's an individual aspect to this whole thing. But why am I saying this? Because he's like, I'm just one of the ones that you already got to traverse this, somewhat difficult journey. I just decided to pave my road. A friend of mine. Okay. You can make it through either way. Listen, God is your source either way. You got victory either way. Some of us are just paving our roads, okay? Some of us got gold streets, okay? That's all. Again, nobody's better than the next person. Why am I saying this? Because there's certain things that you're going to have to engraft into your life if you want rich. Number one, the first thing you're going to have to gain is a mind. Okay. First thing that rich is, it's a mind. So a lot of you would like to say a mindset. We're going to call it a mind today. For those of you who are of the Christian narrative at this point in your life or whatever, think of it this way. Let this mind be in you that was also in Christ. Okay. You got to let the mind be in you that is rich. Okay. So I need you to think a couple things. I know I'm not going to have time to dive into all of this. Again, this is why I created the Iexist Nation, where you can get more directly from me or through group setting situations. We'll talk about that later too. All right. So you have to understand that in the mind is a mindset. Okay. There's a perspective that comes along with the mind. There's a language that comes along with the mind. Okay. So I remember somebody was talking to me a while back, and I'll never forget this because it was a little bit odd to me at the time, because you can't always see your difference until it's almost like with the white wall that's behind me, right? My shade of color, skin color, or it shows up dramatically because there is a difference between the shades. Okay. There is a large distinction between the color of that and then, whatever else you see in front of it. Okay. So you can tell there's a big difference. You can't always see your difference because it's hard to see yourself in life. That's why I believe in coaching in the first place. Okay. You need someone to help see you potentially. By that note, I also say, be careful who you are allowing to help you get perspective of yourself. Okay. I heard it this way from an elder. He said, you got to be careful who holds the mirror in your life, because while you're not looking, they'll break it to distort your image of yourself or distort your self-image. Okay. Some people don't want you to see who you really are, so they'll break the mirror. So be careful who's holding the mirror. But at the same time, we do need other people in life, because the hardest thing to see is yourself. It's just how it goes. All right. So me not knowing particular things, y'all have to know I was living in an apartment at the time or whatever. It was nice. It was okay. Right. But it was an apartment. It might have been 1 bedroom situation or something like that. Again, it was nice. It was okay. It was nice, but it was that's where I was at the time. And I remember talking on the phone with somebody, and the guy was saying to me, he was just listening to me for a while. This is somebody that I was recently at the time introduced to. After about 5 minutes of conversation, or me maybe ranting the same way I can get into strong discussion, he's like, and it was shocking to me because it had nothing to do with what I was talking about. But he says, "You're rich." And I'm like, what? So now I'm looking around at my apartment like, I am. And I was like, what? Why you say that? He was like, well, no, I'm not saying I'm not saying what you have per se in this moment. He said, it's in your language. So he noticed a distinction. He noticed where I was going according to how I was already talking, right? So there was something in him that signified, or that was alerted to the fact that, no, this speech is different. Okay. This is a different type of conversation that's going on. And what he called it was rich convo. I have other examples of this before. I've had a friend for some years who kind of the way he used to talk about certain things and travel and things like that. And, me and a few family members, like a long time ago, used to crack on him a little bit because we're like, man, you really talking to us like, you know what I mean? Like those conversations that make you feel poor, because they're not bragging or anything. They're just telling you about everyday life. And you're like, what? What is that? So and I'm not talking, please hear me when I say there's a language. I'm not saying that means that I throw, this is a joke, by the way, that I throw, I don't even want to say the restaurant name. I throw an expensive restaurant in the sentence every now and then, and that means I'm rich. That's foolish. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying there's a perspective that creates a language that's different. Okay. So I'll give you an idea. I said this before on another presentation that it said that poor people talk about one another. Rich people talk about money. Wealthy people, we're talking about the super wealthy, right? You think you're 100 billionaires, you're $1 billion men, those that are going on to say, we'll be a trillionaire by this time or whatever the thing is. These people talk about ideas. Okay, so when I say money is a language, it means, or rich is a language, it's a level of language. I have to do a conversation on languages probably one day. Okay, but a level of language. You know how, like, when you're talking to a mathematician or maybe a doctor or something like that, or a doctor's talking to another doctor, you're standing there and you're like, I know they're speaking English, but I have no clue what they're saying. Maybe you talk to somebody that's in finance or something like that, right? Or that's talking on the side of taxes or something like that. And again, I know it's English. I know it's the language that I'm speaking. I just don't understand it because it's another bracket. It's another level of language, maybe, right? Rich has its own language. Rich has its own perspective. It starts making you think differently. I'll give you one of the ways you start thinking when you have the mind of rich, right? Number one, and I've said this before, you have an investment strategist mind. Okay. To be very honest with you, and I'll use this for an example, for those who are, you start taking profit and loss, pretty seriously. You start looking at the fact that if I buy this, you have strategy, but behind how many ways I can use this. Is this going to make me money? And you actually start buying things more that will be what is considered assets to your life, which means it's bringing wealth to you, it's bringing rich to you by you purchasing it, because that in and of itself is a profit loss statement. So you start thinking things like, well, I don't need to be around this person. I don't need to purchase this particular thing if it's not making me actual money, things like that. OK, I don't want to get too involved in this because it's going to start talking. It sounded like I'm speaking financial language, which can get boring for some of you. But you need the mind of rich. It's a perspective. It's a language. The reasons you start doing things, you'll start to realize that I'm only doing this for freedom now. OK, y'all doing it for fame. You on TikTok for fame. You on whatever for fame. I need to. That one slipped out. I'll try not to use social media names and things like that. You're on these social outlets for fame. We're doing what we're doing for freedom. It's a completely different thing. Okay. You start being willing to pay for things because you have an investment mindset. This is the last thing I'll cover under the mind, and then we'll go to break. So now I don't care about buying something that costs more if it lasts longer. Some of you have been so cheap minded. Now let's use maybe a car for an example. I don't know if I want to use this, but it's like, well, I'm going to just get the cheapest thing or whatever. And then you're fixing it 9 times a year, right? Not only that, if you drive it anywhere other than to work and back, which may be, let's just say it's 15 miles, which is, I guess, maybe far for some of you or whatever. But you're driving it back and forward every day. And now you got to get your oil changed, even regular maintenance, right? Let's say it's every 3,000 or something like that miles. And you're like, man, if you're driving it any further than that, right? Maybe you're driving an hour to work. Now you've changed the oil 6 times. That's maybe an exaggeration, but you understand what I'm saying. All in the same year. Now you think you're saving money because that other car costs X amount of dollars more than this one, right? But somebody that's driving something that may be much more expensive, the difference becomes now when I go get the oil change, they're saying, I'll see you next year. Not in 2 months, not in 3 months, not every quarter. So yeah, there may be a heavier cost up front. Now, when I get something fixed or something like that, it's more of an actual, I feel like I'm in quality, things like that. So because y'all have to understand, okay, let's go out of cars to like your businesses. Some of you get the cheapest employees and you can afford more. But the problem is excellence costs. Competency costs. So you spend all of your money on the cheaper employee, sorry to say, non-competent, potentially stupid or stupid. I just want to say it the way I want to say it. Okay. Employee, you got to patch everything up 24/7 because they're not competent, controllable, but not competent. By the way, competence means I know what I'm doing. Some of you have a hard time with competent people because of the control factor. Okay. But competency literally means the person knows what they're doing. That's actually a solution. That's not a problem. Okay. So you got to patch up everything all the time. You got to run behind them all the time to apologize and to patch and all these things because you won't hire competency, because competency costs. This is not a rich mindset. I'm sorry. It's costing you more to keep incompetence around. Even if you would listen, why not even pay for training? so you can get some competency infused into your company or something, but you're going to have to pay the cost. You can't get around the cost of excellence, because everybody that's excellent, everybody that's competent, by the way, who's self-aware to know that they're competent, which I don't know if you're competent if you don't know you're competent, but everybody that is, they're going to charge you. Everybody that really knows they're making the distinct luxury product that's set apart. And guys, everything ain't a trick. Oh, they're just upping the price on it so you'll want it more. I'm telling you, I've been on both ends of the spectrum. This bag versus this bag. This car. Them people ain't lying to you. People have ridden with me on both ends of the spectrum, and they say, no, this is different. Or they've said, okay. You got to know competency costs. So, and by the way, another thing coming to my mind, that the rich mind, you start to realize things and understand things naturally. I'll make a strong statement right here. This is my statement. To me, living off of income is a curse. I know that's why. Listen, you wonder why there's certain principles that are God-given in terms of even the idea of the tithe and things like that. Things that teach you to stop eating your seed, right? Helps you with an investment mindset that if you would sit aside, if you, some of you invest, some of you put it in a giving category, but either way, the principle is good to start to understand. Listen, you want an apple orchard, somebody gives you an apple, you eat the whole apple and the seeds, and you're out of luck. Okay? Living off income is like living in debt. You want to work yourself out of that. Okay. Whole nother conversation for later. But excellence costs. One of the greatest lessons on excellence I have ever heard was a part of a staff event that I got to be that I was a part of, or I got to be a part of, and I'm saying listen into, and I won't go. I'll save. It was called Worth the Waste. Okay, it was a lesson on excellence. All right, some of you think you're wasting by going the extra mile, paying the extra few dollars, but excellence costs, and it's always worth what you thought you wasted. It's never a waste. Pay for excellence, competency, things like that. I'll give you one real quick story. There's a lady by the name of Shanda Sumter. I'm telling you her name because she was on our audio podcast. I remember she was telling the story about, long story short, she was in a coaching business going really hard for her. She didn't know how to increase clientele, things like that. She was telling a story about how she finally broke down and was like, you know what? I need to hire a coach that can teach me, that can train me to get me to the next level of income, things like that. All right. I think she had already had a little bit of success in real estate before, but she was in a new venture, per her heart pulling her there. Long story short, the guy, she sells her car because the coaching, again, competency costs, excellence costs. She sells her car, pays $15,000 for coaching, right? He started shifting things, the things that she was doing, working 7 days a week. I think she went down to 3 days a week, all these things like that, right? Long story short, today, I think, is still that she has at least an 8-figure business, 8-figure earning business. That's yearly income, right? That's at least $10 million a year. Okay. And at the time that she was telling the story, she was only working 6 months out of the year, earning 8 figures. Okay. But what am I saying? She had to pay the cost. The woman sold her car just to be able to pay competence to get her where she needed to go. Okay. So here's the problem. If you don't have the mind of rich, you can't produce rich works, rich thoughts, rich ideas. Okay, so it's a whole mind. If you need to say mindset to help you, that's fine. But you need the mind of Rich. You need the perspective of it. That's the language of it. All these things come with the mind. When we come back, listen, comment right now. If you're enjoying this, if you want to hear the few more things that Rich is on the other side of this break, comment the word rich. Comment the word rich. Okay. Max it out if you want to. How many ever times you want to. All right. When we come back, I'm going to give you the rest of the things. It's 6 in total for 2026. All right. But we'll give you the rest of what rich is. 5 more things. All right. Hey, if you're enjoying the masterclass thus far, I have a couple things that I'm willing to bet that you'll enjoy either just as much or even more. The first of those things is Wisdom for Days. It's my new book, and it is a compilation of 306 quotes that I've put together over years of experiences that are personal to me, that I know will help you out in your everyday life. Listen, it's just a great book. I highly recommend it to you. I want you to get it. You can get it at becomingallthatweare.com. Also, while you're there, pick up my book, A New Home. Go to the website. You can see all the details about it. It's a book that I've geared towards leaders that really will help you if you're feeling like you don't fit in life, as if you stand out in some type of way that you may not want to, but you just can't help it. This is all about how to get rid of your need to fit in and really stand out and be the person that you were created to be. The third thing that I want to tell you about is my podcast, Living the Dream. It is an Iexist podcast that I developed a few years ago that has tons and loads of great information, wisdom, insight. I gear it towards the people who need the reality of living the dream. I know that talking about the dream is one thing, but to live it is an entirely different thing. And if you want insight in what it's like to actually live a dream, that is the podcast for you. Go pick these things up. Go listen to these things. They'll continue to help you on your journey to progression, to freedom.
Freedom, such an elusive concept for many, available to all, yet grasped by few. A freely given birthright, yet more costly in its expression than most believe they can afford. But what is the cost to live without it? Wars have been forged over it, and yet it belongs to the peaceful. Slaves have been made in their master's attempt to barter his or her way into its city gates. But the gates of freedom are not open to the despot. Freedom is not accepted by the weak. It is the way of the strong, the gateway to growth, progress, and ultimately for everyone, a life full of fulfillment.
Welcome to an Iexist Masterclass.
Frank Sinatra's song My Way, I Did It My Way should be his theme song forever because he did it his way. He didn't wait for anybody to tell him how to do it. He did it his way.
Why you worry about me? Why you worry about me? Worry about me, it's whatever I should. Yeah.
You say there's really no way to win. You say the pressure's too much giving. You should just hold your breath, cause I say I'll do this my way. Can't understand why you're worried about me. Made up my mind that I would be free. So just keep that to yourself, cause I say I'll do this my way.
Hold up. They like, B, why you all in this rap-ish? I'm starting to feel like you capping. I'm starting to feel like you acting. I'm starting to feel I'm being catfished. Do touchy subjects and ad-libs. Are you a preacher, man? Or a lyricist? Cause I don't really know if this hat fits. I'm like, wow, that's how you feel. I guess I just keep it all to myself. Won't no opinions. I don't need your help. But since you asked, let me share this wealth. Pay attention. Thing is, I'm both
Full of wisdom, full of wealth, full of God, still a earth shell. Ain't into sorcery, but I break spells. Learn to bring heaven, cause I've been through hell. And to trust funds, but I don't trust well. I'm a businessman and I'm God's man. Got a nurse brand and I dress well. I'm a lamb dressed in wolf's clothes. I'm a lion dressed in a man's robe. Dealt a bad hand, but I don't ever fold. I'm a high priest with no church clothes. Look, no cap. So you really mad cause I don't do what you do? Think I'm a fool cause I don't choose what you choose. Still living well while I break all the rules. Looks like you might have this whole thing confused. Y'all hypocrites are like 9 people, but when it come to hats, I can't wear a few. Stop playing.
You say there's really no way to win. You say the pressure's too much giving. You should just hold your breath, cause I say I'll do this my way. Can't understand why you're worried about me. Made up my mind that I would be free. So just keep that to yourself, cause I say I'll do this my way.
Hey, if you're enjoying the masterclass thus far, I have a couple things that I'm willing to bet that you'll enjoy either just as much or even more. The first of those things is Wisdom for Days. It's my new book, and it is a compilation of 306 quotes that I've put together over years of experiences that are personal to me, that I know will help you out in your everyday life. Listen, it's just a great book. I highly recommend it to you. I want you to get it. You can get it at becomingallthatweare.com. Also, while you're there, pick up my book, A New Home. Go to the website. You can see all the details about it. It's a book that I've geared towards leaders that really will help you if you're feeling like you don't fit in life, as if you stand out in some type of way that you may not want to, but you just can't help it. This is all about how to get rid of your need to fit in and really stand out and be the person that you were created to be. The third thing that I want to tell you about is my podcast, Living the Dream. It is an Iexist podcast that I developed a few years ago that has tons and loads of great information, wisdom, insight. I gear it towards the people who need the reality of living the dream. I know that talking about the dream is one thing, but to live it is an entirely different thing. And if you want insight in what it's like to actually live a dream, that is the podcast for you. Go pick these things up. Go listen to these things. They'll continue to help you on your journey to progression, to freedom.
Freedom, such an elusive concept for many, available to all, yet grasped by few. A freely given birthright, yet more costly in its expression than most believe they can afford. But what is the cost to live without it? Wars have been forged over it, and yet it belongs to the peaceful. Slaves have been made in their master's attempt to barter his or her way into its city gates. But the gates of freedom are not open to the despot. Freedom is not accepted by the weak. It is the way of the strong, the gateway to growth, progress, and ultimately for everyone, a life full of fulfillment.
Welcome to an Iexist Masterclass.
Hopping round, you was glad cause it's your birthday. Till your mom called and said your birthday was her worst day. Even with the drama, you can still make it the best day. Cause it's the best day, yeah. Baby, it's your birthday and it's the best day. It went the worst way, but let it fade away. Let it fade away, cause it's the best day, yeah. It's your birthday.
It's gonna be the very best day of your life. It's gonna be, yeah.
was picking out your fit, plan to decorate your crib. You was about to get it lit, I know, yeah. You was changing out the codes, leading the autumn. You was writing down your goals, I know, hey. You plan to turn it up tonight, well, alright. Then wake up to a better life. We still got time to make this right. Yes, I know, yes, I know, yes, I know, yes, I know.
It's gonna be. Say it's gonna be. It's gonna be. Oh.
You was jetting round, you was glad cause it's your birthday. Till the pilot called and said your bag won't be at baggage claim. Even with the drama, you can still make it the best day. Cause it's the best day, yeah. Baby, it's your birthday and it's the best day. It went the worst way, but let that fade away. Let that fade away, cause it's the best day. Yeah, it's your birthday. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy, yeah, yeah. You've been dreaming about the day when you was 26 years old. You was bold, hard to go, you was always touching road. Always paying for the folks, never broke. Day before, heart was so fly, 25 still working at the store. Get it, girl, cause you was born with it.
Appreciate it. Welcome back for hopefully most of you that were there on the first, all of you that were there. If you didn't do it before, if you didn't catch it before, let's see. Yeah. If you haven't done it yet, comment Rich. If you're ready for the rest of these, put it in the chat. All right. But we call it the hall. Again, affectionately. We're the classroom. You're the hall. Okay. So let's go. We're going to try to do a lightning round real quick. We already talked about that. Rich is a mind. Okay. Covered a couple things that had to do with our language, perspective, how you start to begin to see things. It's important to know that the higher the mind goes, the higher the perspective is, the higher the conversation goes with it. And so these are dimensions or levels of thinking. Okay. Anywhere I develop myself, if I develop myself in the sciences, things like that, the lingo, everything becomes different because there's a language for not just every career. You can think about it that way, but there's a language for every, we'll call it dimension right now of thinking. Okay. You have to adopt a new language for it. So, by the way, and I don't just mean learning financial lingo. Rich is not the same thing as let me go work for this particular company that manages money for so-and-so and things like that. I hope you can hear me. That's why I said it's a level of language. Me learning the term profit and loss statement is not going to make you rich, is what I'm saying. You learning what particular, and I can use this for an example too. You learning the difference between an S corporation and a C corporation and a nonprofit and all these things. It's not that it doesn't make you a businessman. Okay. So that's why we started this off with talking about becoming. Okay. To become something, it's your language changes, but your level of language changes. I don't know how I'm trying to describe it the best I can. It's a level of language. It's not you learning, picking up certain words and thinking that's going to make stuff attract to you. It's not the same thing, because it's some other things we'll get to. You'll understand a little bit later. So riches of mind. We talked about at the end about how excellence costs, things like that. And it was a perfect carryover to the next thing, because the next thing that rich is, it's a standard. And here's how I need you to think about it. We can both be doing the same thing. We can both be participating in the same thing. We can both be wearing the same thing, right? We can both, I'm sure all of you are clothed, right? We can both be wearing a shirt, but we can at the same time carry a different standard. Okay, so you have to understand that to do something from the mind of rich, I'll have a different standard than doing something from the mind of poverty or poor. It's even in the way you do things. Your standard actually begins to change, right? Now, I know you're not going to believe me, but I'll give you a really good point right up front. Your money will actually start changing when your standard changes, right? So there's a lot. Again, I told you I've been on the both ends of the table. I understand particular things, not only by revelation, understanding things like that, but like also from the standpoint of experience. Okay. So I know what I'm saying to you. What happens is, and I'll tell you, like, and I'll speak this over you. You get along with rich long enough, you'll forget the day. And I'm saying this specifically for you that don't come from it, right? To where, because this ain't a big statement for everybody, but for some of you, this is a big statement. You stay with rich long enough. You stay around the people who speak the language, who know who have the perspective, who are of rich. You stay around it long enough, you will forget the day that $100 was a lot to you. You won't even know when the transition happened. I'll up it for some of you. You will forget the day that $1,000 was a lot of money to you. I'll up it again for others of you. You can forget the day when 10,000, 20,000, 40,000 was a lot of money to you. For some of you, you can forget the day that $1 million was a lot of money. Okay. And on and on and on. You understand. Stay with it long enough. Stay with the mind of rich long enough. You will forget the day. Let's go back to the initial statement that $100 was a lot of money to you. You won't even remember, some of you, the transition point. You'll say, I don't even know when this happened, but it ain't a lot. Okay. So it's a standard. Why am I saying it's a standard? Because if you can change your standard, you start changing the outcome in terms of your money will actually change along with your standard. So some of you think, and I hate to be using this for an example because this is like areas that it can be easily offensive, right? But y'all have to understand, I'm not talking from non-experience. I'm talking to you from the trenches of all the things that a person can go through with financial situations. And so, like, right now, for many of you, it may be common, right? You may be okay with the payment plan. Okay, however that goes, right? there's a distinct decision you will make at a particular point when involving yourself with the idea of rich to say, this is no longer applicable to my life. I am going to raise my standard. I don't want to have to do this ever. I'm not going to ever do this again in my life. Now, this sounds really simple, right? You go from pay in full to pay in full no more. And I'm not saying that you can't. I'm not talking about getting sedity and thinking you're above particular things. I'm talking about raising your standard. Okay? I'm not even going to say that it's not always, I don't care how much money you have. Sometimes the wise thing may be to do something of the equivalent, right? Maybe on a higher level or whatever the thing. I'm not saying like a person necessarily needs to get rid of credit cards if you know how to use them properly and things like that and know how to make them an asset to your life. At the same time, the issue becomes that for some of you, you will say, man, I'll never use another one in my life. I'll never go in debt in this particular type of way or have debt associated with my name in this particular type of way. I'll give you another example that you can go from being okay with having a car loan to saying, I'll never have a car loan again, right? What did you do in that moment? You upped your standard. There's a story that I heard of this particular we'll call him preacher. Okay. And he was in a transition in his life. And he was saying that at a particular point, he intuitively, God was speaking to him about where he was going. Okay. And who he would be entertaining and all these things, right? And he had to dress himself for where he was going. Okay. And in that instance, one of the ways that he took on the mind of Rich from God at the time was concerning the watches he wore. Okay. So the guy said that had a particular watch on. It was a nice watch or whatever, but I had decided to go shopping one day, went into a watch store. God started talking to him and he directed him to a particular portion of the watch store, had really nice, expensive watches. And the statement was, I don't ever want you to buy anything. First of all, buy this watch. He said he picked up the watch and he's like, really? I got to buy this watch. And from now on, I don't want you to wear anything less than this. What was God doing for him? He was increasing his standard because your money will start matching your standard. Some of you should not even want to have to do the payment plan for this particular thing. Because what I'm saying is, if you can get sick and tired of it, if you can tell yourself no more, life will start matching your money to your standard. Okay. So, and I don't want to make it sound so magical. Okay. Long story short, you'll start doing the things that are required to match the money with your standard, because it's almost like saying, let's say your mental standard changes in life to where you're like, you know what? I dealt with people who abused me for too long. I'm never going to do it again. Right now, your words, your actions start aligning with that declaration and that standard change. And the next thing you know, you've gathered people in your life who are a lot better than where it was because you've changed your standard. Okay. You've gotten rid of it. It'll start matching your standard. Contrary to a lot of y'all's belief, your life matches your standard. And that's actually what's wrong, because it's not high enough. Yet again, we're not talking about getting bougie in a bad way, in the sadiddy sense or whatever, right? But you gotta change your standard. I'm saying not arrogance. We're just talking about a standard change. And by the way, a real easy way to not stay arrogant is to let people have their own choices, right? You want to live with this particular thing? I ain't even saying nothing's wrong with the quote unquote payment plan or something like that. But what I'm saying is, in order to increase myself to the point to where I don't need to use it anymore, I got to increase my standard. To where I don't need to use a loan to buy the house or the car or the situation. It has to be a demand within myself to not do it. And I'll start to do the things that it takes to get myself or to put myself in the position to not have to do it anymore. So some of your standards are not at rich because rich is a standard. And so people, may say, oh, my God, you bought that. That was, I bought it cash or whatever the thing is. And they may be flabbergasted by it. Then maybe the next statement is, well, I don't buy anything unless I can buy it in cash. What? Even cars? Yes, because that's my standard. One story is coming up to me right now. I remember Steve Harvey saying one time, he said at a particular point in my life, and he was talking about this from the sense of the idea of the law of attraction, which we could talk about at another time. I think I talked about it a little bit when it came down to manifestation, but you have to understand he was using his faith also in this ordeal. But the issue became, he was like, God, I don't want anything less than $100 bills from now on, to the point to where he's like, if I go to the store and buy a $2 piece of candy, right, with a $100 bill that was in my wallet, I will literally give $90 something away, right, to whoever's around me or whatever, just so I can keep 20s away from my wallet. Because he said, I don't want anything. Now, it's a weird way to y'all. I know y'all, listen, you got to really take on. And again, faith was inside of this mind, right? But what I'm saying to you is, it sounds stupid to some of you, but the testimonial was that from that point on, had nothing but hundreds come to me. Even in pay, people were paying me in numbers that would allow for only hundreds to come. Whole nother conversation. Okay. But what I'm saying is, all he did was raise the standard, right? To the point to where I'll get rid of 4 20s just so I can meet the standard that I've set for myself. So you got to raise the standard. Okay. I don't know if I have time to go into any more than that. Number 3, rich is, I love this one, an attitude. I love this one. And this is why some of you will see the thumbnail that you see, right? Now, think about attitude from this standpoint, okay? Like, I don't know what you call it. Like when a girl is angry and, the neck gets to swaying and stuff like that, and the snaps may come out and things like that. There's a particular way that she may show her attitude or whatever. So when I say Rich has an attitude, I literally mean an actual attitude. Okay, because you have to understand even what I said a second ago about demanding a higher standard. To most people, you will come across as if you had an attitude. To most people, you'll start coming across as Scrooge. Right? Oh my God, this person is a jerk. This person is always serious. Why are they so whatever? Because again, and I'm glad we have this historical example in Scrooge McDuck, because This is the guy with the pissy, the poor attitude. Okay, the guy that's like, you feel real akin to calling a jackass. the donkey. You understand what I'm saying? Like this guy, I mean, what's the attitude for you? Always seem upset about something, always whatever. But I'm telling you right now, and I don't want you to think attitude as in mean, and I need to clear up something in a second, but think attitude as in serious. Rich has an attitude associated with it because it's a demand. And to be honest with you, a lot of you, I'm going to use this word, but I don't mean it in the way that you normally use it, are not mean enough to get rich. For this conversation, you're not serious enough. I told somebody not too long ago, they were like, I want to pursue a career in this particular thing. I said, you know what? You need to let me manage you. Because if you're going to pursue a career in it, you're not going to make any money. You're not mean enough. And they kind of took it a little bit offensively. What do you mean? Listen, Rich has an attitude. I'm sorry. Rich is almost a temper tantrum at points because you got to demand Rich. Listen, if you don't master money, master it. It'll master you. So in order to become its master, so you can swim around like Scrooge in it, you need an attitude. So the truth is, some of you aren't mean enough. And let me clarify what this means. I don't mean as in you get to just harm people at your will and all these things. Please don't associate this with any pictures of people who have gone crazy and just disrespected everybody just because they could and they had some money. Again, this stuff is arrogance and all those things, right? I'm not talking about you're not humble anymore and all these things. But when I say it has an attitude, I'm saying it has a seriousness to it. It has a demand to it, right? You can treat everybody else like this. You're not going to treat me like this. Because it's a standard, and the standard has an attitude and it has a demand to it. So let me just say this to you real quick. A lot of you think you're good because you're nice. Let me say it up front. I'm not nice as a general rule. I don't even believe in it. Good is not nice. This is why the term even says nice guys finish last. You need to understand good as being principled in this life. Do what you say you're going to do, blah, 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 whatever. Be a principled person. But even a lot of people that master certain things, particular skills, I'm thinking about a particular chef right now that maybe if I said his name, many of you would know, popular, but the guy just known for being a Scrooge. If you're going to go, listen, these people have taken time to discipline themselves. And half the time, by the time, if you actually pursue Rich, by the time you get there, especially if you're starting from scratch or something like that, listen, you ask me, you got a right to an attitude. All the stuff you've been through to get to a particular place, all right? Listen, you may think Scrooge is mean, but I guarantee you Scrooge got what you need. Okay? It's the difference. And so, again, we're not talking about being mean for mean's sake. Again, let's go back to this whole nice thing. Like a lot of you, good is not nice. Nice ain't got nothing to do with being good. Or if you want to say the other round, the way around, like being good has nothing to do with being nice. Listen, some of you lie every other sentence and just be smiling. Cheesing. Soft tones, mellow, soft voice, just lying. You know what I'm saying? That's not good. Well, they're nice, though. They said it in a kind way. I don't know if I need something said. I don't need something said in a kind way. I need the truth. And so this is what happens when a person starts to, yet again, not be focused on being nice and all these things, become principled as an individual. And again, you know, that let's have a core statement of just the idea of keeping your word. Okay. Just be a good person, but that has nothing to do with being nice. So you look at people that master all of these certain lanes and they've become experts. Listen, I don't know anybody that now that I think about it, that's like the top of their game. And all people have said, this is the nicest person in the world. Listen, everybody think they mean. And it's because they're so serious about what it is that they do. All the, again, discipline that it takes, all of the trial and error you had to go through in order to make something right or whatever. I'm telling you, I know for a fact. Now, people that genuinely know me, which is not a lot of you, I don't have the close proximity reputation over a long period of time as being, nobody's going to tell you, oh, nah, he definitely just be, you know, this disrespectful person, all these things or whatever you could be associating with the real definition of a mean person. At the same time, I'm not nice for the sake of getting you to like me and all these things or whatever, especially not from a distance or anything like that. Again, not that I'm mean actually, but I'm just known, I'm a serious person. Okay. And I'm not saying that to, even as an example, I'm just telling the truth to say that it takes seriousness. Rich has a serious mindset, and a lot of you will never, let me rephrase that. A lot of you will find how difficult it is if you don't create that demanding attitude in your life. You're not getting rich. I'm telling you, it just ain't happening. I'll give you this example, and then I'll give you one story, and hopefully we'll move on from that. I've said this before. A lot of you think that you're going to go on a job and just come early, leave late. You know what I mean? In the sense of saying like you worked over your hours and all these things. It may do good for your skill. It may do good for your discipline in a particular field or something like that. But a lot of you are like, man, why isn't my boss just coming up to me and handing me a raise or something like that? Like, don't they see all this dramatic work I'm doing and stuff like that? And then at the end of the year, you getting the 2% that everybody else getting. And you did all the extra work. You doing some of your fellow employees' work and all these things. And you're like, man, they should, as a boss, they should just be looking at me and saying, I want to give, say your own name, more money. I just want to do it because I just see them working so hard. And this is because you misunderstand a lot of things, right? It's unfortunate because it ain't happening for a lot of you. For most of you, I'm saying there's some good bosses out there that are going to consider how much you've done for them and all these things. But do you know the real thing? A lot of these employers are looking at you like the biggest blessing in the world. They're like, man, I only got to pay them $30,000 and they'll be early. They'll leave late. They'll do all this stuff. You a blessing to me is how they're thinking. Thank you, God. I get all this hard work and only got to pay this. What a blessing. So again, a lot of you are so nice. Listen, I'm saying you lying through your teeth every two seconds. And here's the point I wanted to get to. You can't even stand up for yourself. So truthfully, because you can't stand up for yourself, you backstabbing people around you because you can't stand up for them. You get called to the carpet on anything, everything going down with you because you can't even take up for yourself. You too nice. You're not getting a raise that way. You want rich, you gotta have some demand in you. I'm being very honest. You want to get paid more, you need some demand about your life. You gotta, and I'm using the word mean because some of y'all are gonna call it mean. Well, I don't want to impose. They making $40 billion and you got 25,000 of it, and you don't want to impose and take a little bit more change from them. They might need it for tax purposes. To be honest with you, like let me take some of that off of you. All right. So what I'm saying is, but that demand is an attitude. For those of you who are overly nice, be mean. That's how you're gonna think about it. I don't want to be mean. Be mean. Okay. I ain't saying be an actual jerk. So I'll tell you one story real quick. There was a friend of mine, actually. This is kind of a spiritual story too, right? Spirituality is real, people. I don't know what you want me to do. I can't pretend like it's not there. And like I said, I would never pretend like it's not there, because if you don't engraft it into your life, you're going to lose, especially long term. What would it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? Y'all think lose his soul just means die and go to hell or something, right? I just told you about King Nebuchadnezzar. The man lost his mind. Your soul classically is your mind, your will, and your emotions. What would it mean if you gain all this other stuff just to lose your mind in this life? Okay. So the guy is on a stroll. Right. A friend of mine told me this story. He's on a stroll one day and he's walking, and I guess he decides to to talk to God while he's walking. And so the story goes this. The guy's like, God challenges him at the moment and says, because he needs a new car. Right. So I guess he's praying about a new car. God's like, what do you want? I guess I want this. I'm telling you a sped up version. God tells him, hey, man, don't settle. What do you really want? I don't know if I can afford. Hey, I'm asking you, what do you want? Okay, I want this color. It's a luxury car, I'll tell you that. I want it in this color. I want this type of screen in it. I want this. This. Cool. He's done with the prayer, Days later, maybe a week later or something like that, God's like, okay, cool. Maybe let's say a week later for the sake of time. The guy gets a call. It's a family member, maybe an uncle, something like that. But, hey, man, what you doing? Nothing right now. I mean, what's going on? Come over to the house. Goes over to the guy's house. Guy looks at my friend's car, and he's like, you need another car, man. You need another car. Like, this thing is trash. It's terrible. This is this. Right. So the guy's like, OK, I know I need another car, with the money, blah, 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 whatever the excuse was. And so he says, I'm taking you down to the car lot. Crazy thing is, he's taking him to the car lot of the exact car he told God he wants. Right. And he's telling me, he was like, I was nervous because I'm like, why are you going to take me down there? I can't afford whatever he was saying, whatever confession he was making at the moment. Guy takes him down there to the car lot. If you were to pick out a car, which one would you get? Now, here's the crazy thing. His tone the whole time was just literally fussing at the dude, fussing at him. And this is making another story want to come out of me. Fussing at the dude. One of the stories that when I learned humility in my life, it was through a Scrooge. But I'll tell that another time. So the guy, he takes him to the car lot. Which one? Well, I mean, if I could have this car, this would be the one. It was exactly the one he told God about the week before. They go, and the guy's like, okay, we going in this building. So they go into the actual store component of the lot and talk to the one. And he said, I'm just nervous because he's like, I know he's not about to try to make me run my credit, because he's thinking like he not going to get approved, all these things. Long story short, they go in there. He ends up with the car key because the uncle or whatnot paid for it cash. What I'm saying is Scrooge might have been mean, but Scrooge had what he needed. He was forcing him through the whole process, fussing at him the entire time. Dude, what you doing riding in this raggedy car? This. Right? But Scrooge had what he needed. Obviously, to me, from a distance, it sounded like a man that takes life pretty seriously. Okay, so long story short, rich is an attitude. You got to start demanding. You got to take life seriously. Some of you think I'm harsh, and I remember saying this. I was walking, doing an exercise. I mean, I'm talking about my hands were freezing. I'm talking on the phone, like in training mode, with someone who works around me. And I'm like, dude, I'm sitting here giving you this information. My hand's about to freeze off. I'm exercising in this literal snow. And I said, but you wonder why I'm so hard on y'all. I'm hard on me. I demand when it comes down to me, right? You can call it Scrooge. I guarantee you Scrooge got what you need. Every time. Not mean for mean's sake, serious. Okay. All right. Number 4. It's not only an attitude, it's an appetite. This is real simple. We'll fly through this one. Okay. You got to have an appetite for it. This is why I opened up the whole thing by saying, if you can stomach it, we're going to talk about rich, because you need to be a whole new person. You need the mind. Okay. Like it's a whole new thing, right? So you got to have an appetite for it. The way that I can say this is also how I summed it up earlier. I said this earlier, that you can only attract what you respect. So you can't be one of these people walking around being like, oh, I don't think there's a such thing as a moral billionaire. I actually liked the post not too long ago of a guy who said that he doesn't believe that there's a such thing as a moral billionaire, but not because I agree with him, but because I'm like, at least the boy being honest. Okay. And, it had this whole explanation behind it and things like that. Again, I don't agree. It's just that was his mindset. Like, and it's another one of these people that's like, man, if I had $1 billion, why ain't you giving it to everybody? Number one, I don't know who you think. I know you don't understand money. You must not understand money, because I don't know who you think has $1 billion liquid cash, right? I'm saying that number is probably too low if it exists. You think these people have just cash sitting around in those amounts? Okay. Is one thing. Money put into assets, things like that. There's you got to talk ways around taxes. You got to talk a whole bunch of stuff when you're talking about accruing that amount of money. It ain't just sitting around. And that's for anybody that educational piece for people that literally think that just because somebody says I'm a billionaire, that it's literally sitting in their wallet and they can just give it out at random. It doesn't work that way. You need to be educated on money. Okay. So the guy is saying that he didn't believe in this. There's a such thing as a moral billionaire or whatever the thing, because his appetite has not grown to be able to handle rich. Listen, it's an appetite. You got to have an appetite for it. The reason why I don't change a lot of the subject matter and things like that is because I know we're not for everybody. The subject of rich is not going to be appetizing for everybody, because not everybody even wants it. And I already told you that don't have nothing to do with you going to heaven or hell. You don't go to hell because you don't want a 14 bedroom mansion. Okay. But at the end of the day, and the reason why a lot of you don't want to is because you're overwhelmed by the thought of it. You understand what I'm saying? Like you don't even, you're like, who's going to take, I don't even want to take care of that. I get it. Okay. Nobody's making you or wanting you to feel uncomfortable with your personal option to stay in something much smaller or whatever the situation is. That's not what this is about. This is about, or this is for those of you who can stomach it, who have an appetite for it. It's an acquired taste, to be very honest with you. And your taste can change, by the way. You can be inspired by a life that is, and this is the reason why I was saying that nobody's better than anyone else. The idea, though, is that I can be better off. You may get attracted to the fact that I can leave $100 tip somewhere, right? And I'm using myself just in that space. But whoever, you might be attracted to the fact that somebody can go, and when the charity had the particular thing, they can drop $10,000 or $2,000 or whatever the thing, and not blink and still go eat where they want to afterwards and stuff like that. Because, and you may say to yourself, man, I would like to be able to give in that type of way. You may be attracted to the idea that somebody doesn't have to get out of their car if the tire blows on the road, because they got every type of insurance there is, and they don't blink or ask questions about the premium that have to do with nitpicking what they can afford and all these things. You get what I'm saying? Like, you may be attracted to the fact that I don't gotta wait in the line at the hospital because we friends. He come to the house. That may be attractive to you. You can have an acquired taste. You can acquire that taste from being exposed to it. It's reminding me of something else. I remember Steve Harvey saying at some point where he's talking about, like, I always tell people, like, go sit behind that curtain, in first class at a certain point. He's like, once well, anyway, long story short, you might acquire a taste for rich, but it has to be something you can stomach. And so I'm not changing a lot of the content, the length of certain things a lot of times, because, people want you to, it's like you're trying to minimize my effect, is how it comes across, is what I'm saying. You don't have to have an appetite for what we're producing, but I don't change a lot of things, right? After deep thought and, obviously, if there's actual error and things like that, we're always open to closing those gaps and holes in our presentation, or whatever the thing is, that's for corrective purposes and things like that. But what I'm saying at the end of the day is that it's like, they'll make this more bite size, make this whatever. And it's like, because I don't want to have to sit this long. I don't have to whatever. You don't want to be rich. You forget that some people have what you need. Scrooge got what you need. Okay. If I don't want to be disciplined and sit down for a particular, listen, you got to acquire a taste for wisdom. You have to have an appetite for rich. You have to have an appetite. You got to gain one. So I liken this to the idea of food. I come from people, or from around people at least, that, where I come from is just kind of like, man, healthy is a curse word. You would think. They're like, oh my God, this tastes healthy. And it's like, man, this is a cuss word to you. And to a lot of people, it's like, no, that's your lifeline. That's what you hope for, right? That something is healthy. But listen to how twisted the view of the idea of health is. And then you wonder why people sick and they dying and they can't recover and all these things. I had a health, my wife or something like that. You're going to say health scare or whatever. But people don't realize like, it was just an answer to a long-term situation that had been happening like for a long time. And I'm saying since I was little. But the issue became, I'm like, are you realizing, for those of people that are around me, how quickly I recovered from something that was not even whatever? But that's because my health points were in line in so many other ways that after taking care of this particular, let's say whatever a malady or whatever the thing, right? It was so easy for me. My body was like jumping right afterwards. And I'm saying for many of you, you would have considered an actual health scare, like scary moment type of situation. What I'm saying is that I already had an appetite for health before the situation. So my body was in a predicament to where it could take maybe the trauma of the actual moment and move on quickly. Back to my feet immediately. But you got to have an appetite for it. Just like it's an acquired taste to be on foods that are healthier and things like that. If you're ever trying to remove sugar from your diet and things like that, listen, that's an acquired taste situation or whatever. So is rich, is all I'm saying. So you got to get to the point to, again, if you can't make yourself sit down and listen or something like that to those, we have what you need. Okay. So it's like, it comes to the point of, well, you must not want what you need, right? You got to acquire, you have to bite-sized stuff or whatever. Like that's what that social media bite-sized entertainment is for, right? But is it helping you? You have to. You wonder why so many people who quote to be Christian that don't read the Bible, which doesn't make sense actually. But I'm saying, or you're in this life and every answer to everything you could need is in a book somewhere and you don't read. It doesn't make sense. There's so many speakers, there's so many presenters of truth and great information. Right. And then you're trying to live off of bite sizes because you don't want to go to the 2-hour thing of the person that's going to exhaust it to the point to where you can't leave the information and do it wrong. Why? Even think about what I was saying earlier about paying $15,000 for the coach. You got to have a taste for answers. You get what I'm saying? Who does that other than somebody that really wants to get on the other side of a particular situation? I say this, you must not want health if you don't acquire a taste for exercise and doing all this other stuff. You have to have an appetite for it. And so that's what is the similarity between those things and rich. You gotta have an appetite for it. And you can develop the taste for it. That's the important piece. That's why I said you have to be in order to have. Okay. When you become, you start doing the things necessary. You start rewiring your own subconscious, conscious, to start desiring the things that are actually good for you. Okay. That's an appetite. Rich is also an energy. This is number 5. Rich is an energy. So here's how I need you to look at that. Rich is a pace. I'm being honest with you. You need the energy to be rich. I forgot. It's a little proverb that's coming to me right now that says something to the degree of the folding of arms and the twiddling of thumbs, and poverty will overtake you like a thief in the night or something like that. I know that's not verbatim, but it's something to that degree. You mind looking it up for me? So just so I quote it properly. But you folding your hands, sleep, I'm thinking about DJ Khaled now. He's always talking about like you got slobber all on your pillow, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. Like just picking at the fact that he's like, you need to get up. You can't be lazy and rich. Especially not coming from where I come from is what I'm saying, right? We're not talking about, and I'm not picking on you by saying this, because if you are a person that comes from rich and were given trust fund type of situation, does not make you bad or lazy or anything like that. But somebody might typically, unless you want to be what people call a trust fund baby, or you are, listen, you got to start looking at things like a man that don't work, don't eat. Okay. So the idea is you can't get to where you got to be aggressive. There has to be an energy towards it. It's a pace. If you go back to what I was talking about, I think, I don't know how many episodes ago, but it was called Ahead of Your Time, right? And I talked about a way to start looking at the idea of getting ahead of your time, even financially. If I can outpace my own life, I can outpace my child's life. I can outpace my grandchild's life in terms of the amount of money I can make in a particular amount of time. If I can retire myself at 30, then what can I do at 60, right? If I can retire myself if I can outpace, which means that I've got enough to where I can relax as an individual, I keep working, right? I can outpace my child's life. I can outpace. And so you start looking at the fact that if I learn how to make, let's say, $10 in an hour, this is probably a bad example. If I come up with a way, let's say I'm in the idea phase, I'm in the rich phase, I learn how to start making money. If I learn how to make, $200 in 2 days, or excuse me, if I learn how to make $400 in 2 days, these are still small amounts, but let's just take it. All right. I need to figure out a way, if I can cut that time down and make $400 in a day, right? By doing extra work the first day, right? Then I can double that and do that same amount of work the next day. I've now created $800 in 2 days, is all I'm saying, right? You need energy to be able to change your pace, because I've heard it this way too. Money moves. I don't want to misquote. Money is attracted to, or is it connected to, speed. So think about it this way. Here's a prime example. So you go to the painter that charges $400 to paint the outside of a house. Okay. He paints the house, right? But it takes him 2 days. Just because you find the person that can do it in 4 hours instead of 2 days, his price may be $800. But it's because he's going to give you maybe even a better paint job than the initial guy. And it's going to be because he did it in lightning speed, which is also another point that's going to make you want to pay them more. Okay. I need you to listen, think, follow, track with me. I'm not saying you're not. I'm just talking fast. Okay. So I'm saying that to say that if I can learn to outpace even others, you start realizing that people that gain rich, especially, again, that come from places that I come from, the work ethic, they've outpaced you 9 times over, right? And it ain't even always that people are doing better work than you. They're doing more because you're only doing one thing. I have to have conversations with myself all the time, because it's like, well, if we do 2 presentations a month, right, that's good for a particular thing, right? And there can be reasoning behind that. But if I want to multiply my efforts, though, right, we were doing it that way for a reason. But it's like, are we outputting enough to be able to catch up with this? And when I say catch up with this, it ain't other people. I'm saying multiply our efforts to be able to multiply, increase in particular areas. Okay. You have to start thinking about those things because you need energy and pace. You got to show up. You got to show up strong. You got to show up with fervor. You got to show up and be able to hold down a particular thing for long amounts of time. Consistency. All I'm saying is that riches and energy. Okay. You need the energy. It's what made me start realizing at a certain point that, all right, God, if we're going to go down the road of rich, you gotta be healthy. Again, especially coming from where I come from. Ain't no way you getting there with bad anything because of the pace you have to output. Rich has a pace to it. You need energy. You got to be able to keep up. All right. With the pace of grace that it's going to take for Rich to enter into your life. All right. That one's simple. Number 6, and then we're all done for the day. You notice I was doing this multiplication, right? Okay, if I could do it in this amount of days, this amount of hours and things like that, that brings me to this last point, that rich is a game. Rich is a game. This is number 6 and we're done. Okay. You have to want to play the game of money. It's actually, in my, I'll say opinion, but I would hope that you acquire a taste for the game of money. Like I would like for it, if you're going to pursue it, make it fun. It's got to start being fun and start figuring out ways to multiply, to increase, things like that. Like looking at profit and loss and figuring out, okay, how can I cut time down here? How can I cut efforts down here or whatever so that profits go up over here? Or how can I add a little bit more value to increase this price so that then we can come out on top this quarter or something like that in terms of our profits, come out on top financially. This is why I'll give you some really common examples. You hear people complaining about, oh, why they're rich and they're evading taxes in these type of ways and things like that. Or, controlling politics outcomes because they gave $100 million to this particular candidate's running, all these things, but they just want them in there so they can cut taxes and then it's a game. You got to want to play the game. Again, this goes back a little bit back to the appetite thing. It's a game. Yeah. If you had so much money and you don't want Uncle whoever to come take whatever, if you don't want 3 letters to come and get you for whatever reason, and you want to save and you thinking about lineage and legacy and you thinking about particular things, I don't care if you're just being selfish. You're like, man, I don't want them to take but so much, if anything, right? Because why they taking it anyway? Especially what they using it for and all this stuff, right? You may not agree with how the tax is being used or whatever. So you're going to play the game. So many of you have heard of these things negatively until you have it. And then you're like, nah, you know what? If I worked, if I actually earned, if I became Scrooge because of how much I've gone through to get to this particular point, now somebody telling me you got to give me half or some people more, whatever the situation. All right. Yeah. You're going to work to keep your own money. It's always easy to say for people that don't have, that didn't work, that didn't have the energy, didn't increase the pace, didn't do particular things to work themselves into a particular place. They didn't put in the hours, didn't go through the turmoil, didn't deal with the people and have to leave the family and have to do all this other stuff. And you work yourself to this place and you're grateful to God and all these things or whatever. And then here come, Joe Schmo trying to dibble dabble into what you got going on. You understand what I'm saying? And there's healthy ways to look at all this other stuff. But all I'm really telling you is that you need to enjoy the game. Like I said, you'll come out the best if you start to realize it's a game. That some people enjoy playing the game of money so much that they win at it. You got to enjoy it to win. And so now we're looking at situations like even the psychology behind it. Y'all don't know. I'm giving out secrets now. That some of the stores y'all go into, y'all ever been into the well-lit nice store or whatever, and then you go in the back to try the clothes on because you ask, oh, you see a particular piece, you know, they have great fluorescent lighting and things like that, and like that mimic sunlight or whatever the thing is, and you got this fine piece of jewelry, clothing or something like that. Well, let's go clothing specifically. And then you say, hey, can I try this on? You go in the back and it ain't as well lit back there. I'm just giving you some psychological side to these things, right? You know, there's people that design stores that know that a lot of you have insecurities. Your body, the way they know, just because Beyonce put that on, that you're not going to look like her when you put it on. You understand? You might not have done all of the work to look like a particular thing, to have the shape or whatever the thing. Sorry. So then you want to go put on the same dress, right? It's a little bit dimmer in the back because they want you to see the dress good and this great fluorescent lighting out front. They don't want you to see it as good in the back. So you got that one little light that's coming down in this big old thing, right? And sometimes that helps increase buyers' willingness to get a particular item, right? They don't want you to see every roll that pop up and stuff like that. Because it's a game is all I'm really getting down to, right? So you have the psychology of buying, sales. They're teaching you how to overcome objectives, or objections. When it comes down to sales, I used to be a salesman. Okay. All of these things, it's a game. Why? So you can win at the game of money. I heard somebody say this before. They said that everybody should make it their goal to be a millionaire at some point in their life, not for the money itself, but for who you have to become in order to get there. A lot of you are too shy. You're too stuck in the house. We were dealing with a business, a third party for a particular thing recently. And it's just like, you know, there's a lot of complaining on our end because I'm like, ain't no way these people come out the house ever. And that's for a project we got coming that I'm actually excited for. But it's like, ain't no way these people come out the house ever and have ever, because you don't even know how to, like, man, we trying to give you money and you like, I don't want to do it that way. Brother, we paying you. I was trying to put extra on it just so we can get it how we want it. Well, I don't recommend. I don't care. Hey, man. Some of that not nice side is coming out. We needed our product this particular way. We'll pay for it. Why are you refusing money? It's crazy over something that ain't even that serious. And we ended up getting it our way and it was nice. Okay. So the point I'm making is this. But I also left there saying we will never work with these people again. So all I'm saying is this. It's a game. All right. So you start seeing people start being able to control markets, do certain things. Obviously, there's laws in place that are supposed to prevent things like monopolies and things like that, because people want to take the whole market once they get to a certain place and buy all of this up, buy all of this land up, or whatever the thing is. And it's like, that's understandable to a certain degree. But then guess what the game becomes? Probably getting around some of these laws. OK, but this is a game to people. And you have to understand it that way, or you'll never want to play it. And if you don't understand it that way, you'll take it too seriously. Like I said, I don't even know how a lot of this spirituality and stuff is getting caught up into it. Like it's a game. Money's a game in this natural material world, and you need to learn to play it. That's all. Don't make it more than what it is. It's not that serious. It's just money. Okay. This ain't life or death, heaven or hell for a significant amount of people. You get what I'm saying? I'm not saying that somebody that needs the emergency surgery and can't afford it, and so, they got to go to this particular hospital where there's a lot of donors. I'm not saying that money doesn't answer all things here. You get what I'm saying? Like it's actually, if I had my desire, I want you to prosper. I want you to master this game. The game of money, but you need to know what it is so that you can actually play the game, and so that you can actually start seeing it as fun, and so that you can actually start playing to win in this life. It's just a game. Okay. Play the game of money. Listen, last thing I need you to type in the chat, just type money, money, money. If you're going to make this a successful year when it comes down to your money and manifestation of it, and here's the benefit. Let me say this on the back end of Rich. Money is a powerful manifestation tool. You got to understand. Now, listen, and I'm sorry, I need to say this. This just came up to me too, and I'm actually going to show you something. But, you got to stop overly spiritualizing all these things that are just really carnal or that are of this world, because it just starts making you do things that don't make sense. And you can't master money when you're not even sensible about it. Okay, so I remember somebody telling me close to me saying some years ago, I think, this is the equivalent of what they were telling me. I just really think, I've dealt with so many quote, quote, spiritual people, really religious people over the years. But they were saying to me, like, I just really think God's going to bless me with this Rolls Royce, but he going to bring it down to my price, my element. Okay. This is what not to do. And I said, I'm going to be real honest with you. I ain't never seen one of them go on sale personally. Okay. And secondly, why would you want it to come down to your thing? Right now, some of you are like, okay, I want this, but God just gonna bring it down, and I'm gonna, meditate and woosah and do whatever and bring it down. And it's like, bro, but I'm sorry, but it's like you don't have a garage, right? So you want God to also park it in that neighborhood that you staying in where sister Honda got robbed last week. What you think they're gonna do? to your nice rolls that just somehow magically came down to your level to where you could pay for it like it was something lesser, okay, in quality and things like that, and in price. Okay, listen, that stuff, it don't even make sense. Stop trying to quantify and come down. I told you, rich is a standard. You got to bring yourself up to it, period. Most things in life you really want, you got to bring yourself up to it. But what am I saying? Also, it's a manifestation tool. So you know how to manifest that thing in your life, how to bring it into your life real quick? Money. That Rolls Royce or the mansion or whatever. I'm trying to manifest a vacation or something like that. Money will manifest you a vacation real quick. Okay, you need God at the center. You need God at the foundation, so that you won't even be, because again, here's the problem with getting a lot of money, and it's the core value of your life. Number one, you start being afraid to spend it and all these things, and you can't experience it on the level that you're supposed to, because God ain't your source, money is your source. Now you're overly stingy, even though you got money, you got all this stuff, and it don't even matter because you're too scared to go outside because God ain't your foundation. It doesn't make sense. If God ain't with you and you got all this other stuff, you ain't gonna do nothing but become a paranoid person that can't do nothing with it. Scared person that can't do nothing with it. Can't even do what you really want to do because God ain't your foundation. You're not secure because you haven't been using God. And some of y'all give lip service to God, but you not secure actually because he ain't on your side, because you don't know that he's not your actual foundation. Money is. Okay. I'm not going back into all of that stuff. But what am I saying? It's a manifestation tool. Okay. I'm really done with the things. I wanted to show y'all how close I was to the actual scripture that I called out, because it's right here. This Proverbs 6, it says, a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of hands to rest, and poverty will come on you like a thief, and scarcity like an armed man. Proverbs 24, sleep a little, doze a little, fold your hands and twiddle your thumbs. I didn't call out the specific verse, but just read the whole thing. Sleep a little, doze a little, fold your hands and twiddle your thumbs. Suddenly poverty hits you and everything is gone. Okay. You got to have the energy. But lastly, it's a game. I hope you got something out of this. Listen, we want to help you prosper. We're actually building a business out for somebody right now. An entire school, to be real. And so come along for the ride, gain an appetite for rich. Listen, we all got to walk this journey. Why don't you pave your road like we are? Okay. If you got to walk through whatever, if you got to have a machete to cut the stuff down, might as well go ahead and pave the road while you're at it, and create something for your life that's luxurious, that you can at least have some experiences that can, especially in moments, bring joy to your life. I mean, whether it's giving away things, whether it's owning particular things, listen, experiences, people, manifest experiences. Allow that mind that can allow you to manifest particular experiences in your life that can only come through that tool and use of money. I'm just being honest. So get rich on your side, or get rich, and prosper, okay, in this season of your life. I want it for you. We want it for you. Join the nation. And I'll talk to you soon. All right. As always, you know, it's our desire as a conglomerate, or every person involved with this, that you would prosper, everyone under the Iexist name. Type rich. Win this year. And until next time.
We hope you enjoyed our experience. If you would like to gain access to more in-depth teachings such as this one, a host of other products and services, or the opportunity to partner with others who are becoming all that they are, join our exclusive membership community. Join the nation, the Iexist Nation. All the info you need can be found in the description of this video. Until next time.
Just keeps getting better and better. You just wait and see. You don't have to see it now in order to believe. Life just keeps getting better and better. You just wait and see. You don't have to see it now in order to believe. Better, 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 better. Ooh, better, 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 better. Life just keeps getting better and better. You just wait and see. You don't have to see it now in order to believe. Life just keeps getting better and better. You just wait and see.